Southern Connecticut's news and information leader.
We are welcoming back to the show this morning attorney Melissa Needle of Needle Cuda. Good morning, Melissa. How are you?
I'm well, Melissa. How about you today?
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much. And, of course, Melissa Needle, a divorce litigator by definition. The people that come to your office have pretty serious marital disputes, and they need your help to get through them. So even on a good day, keeping clients focused on legal strategy has to be pretty hard. So I wanted to start this morning with dealing with extreme personalities.
Yes.
That's got to be a huge challenge. And dare I say, in Fairfield County, there are a lot of extreme personalities.
Yes, that's an understatement. There certainly are. And, you know, going through the divorce process is difficult enough. And when you're trying to divorce someone who is, for example, a borderline personality disorder or have traits of a borderline or narcissist, it makes it that much more difficult. So you really have to hire a lawyer who understands these type of personalities so that they can help you navigate through the process with a little bit more ease than with someone who doesn't know how to manage these types of personalities.
Now, would you call them personality disorders? And if so, which ones would you say you most frequently have to manage?
I would say that there is something called a DSM diagnosis. I'm not a doctor, so I can't diagnose that, but I can tell you that there are certain traits of personalities that we see a lot in divorce. And I would say that the two most popular are borderline personality disorders and narcissistic personality disorders.
Wow. So is that something that you, did you have to tackle that in law school before you decided to go into to being a divorce attorney?
This is something that you learn through experience.
Wow.
And like I said, only trained professionals can properly diagnose a person with a disorder, and there's something called a diagnostic statistic manual that helps medical professionals do that. But my experience with borderline personality disorders, for example, is that their traits are, for example, they have intense anger or difficulty controlling anger. They might have erratic mood swings. They have a pattern of unstable relationships. Switching between extremes of admiration and hatred, you know, like you're either against me or you're for me. And they can tend to be impulsive in areas such as spending, substance abuse, driving, binge eating, all sorts of impulsive types of traits. And to me, when a client comes in and describes a spouse with these types of traits, I generally think to myself, this is going to be a very challenging process because this person is showing traits of a borderline. And it's very difficult to divorce a borderline, someone who has these types of traits. And you really need to have a lawyer who has experience with this to help you navigate the process.
And so we're talking to attorney Melissa Needle of Needle Cuda this morning about this. Do you ever need psychological evaluations?
Oh, yeah. We use psychological evaluations a lot because, as I said, I'm not a medical professional. Mm-hmm. So sometimes we do we agree to have a psychological evaluation or the court requires it. And the reason that we do this is because the medical psychologist can diagnose someone with either narcissism or borderline personality. And if so, they can then tell us what impact those traits have on a person's ability to parent or co-parent and what we can do to make parenting a little bit easier when you're dealing with someone with these types of traits.
And then another thing I was curious about is how do you manage if the spouse is not cooperative?
Oh, that happens all the time with people with these types of personality traits. And there are tips that I tell my clients to do. They have to limit unnecessary communication. If you must communicate, you should keep conversations matter of fact, concise, and consistent. You should communicate in writing to ensure accuracy and so that you can disengage if a spouse becomes aggressive or angry or threatening. And you should not give extra attention to your spouse because they thrive on the attention. It's typically not productive, and they like to fight. So you need to sort of put your head down, communicate what you need to communicate, and disengage.
So, like, the more you're engaging with them, it just is enabling the behavior more, it sounds like.
It's feeding the monster.
Gotcha. Now, what do you do when kids are involved?
What do you do when kids are involved? It can be very difficult when kids are involved, especially with someone who has a narcissistic personality, because they don't really care about the children. They have no remorse. They'll play dirty. If you want to be reasonable, they will not quit. They revel in the process and the drama of the courtroom. It feeds their ego. They can't stand to feel as if they've lost. They need to feel the need to continue to control, and it can be a relentless process with someone who is a narcissist. So it is very, very difficult, and I typically will tell my clients to just put their head down and try to ignore the noise that the narcissist may create.
Melissa, if people need to contact your offices and they need to work through any of this or they want to consult with you, where do they go?
Well, they can either call the office, and the phone number is 203-557-9500, or they can go right onto our website, Cuda, C-U-D as in dog, A.com, and that will lead you to our phone number.
Attorney Melissa Needle, always a pleasure to chat with you. Thank you so much, and I look forward to speaking to you again really soon.
Always a pleasure, Melissa. Take care. Have a Monday.
Yes, thank you. You too. Again, Melissa Needle, attorney with Needle Cuda, and be sure to check them out for any of your marital divorce needs. And as Melissa had mentioned this morning, unfortunately, there are situations pretty often where you have extreme personalities in the mix. So it's something that she is very familiar with and can help you with as well if you want to contact their offices, 203-557-9500. Let's go to traffic and weather right now. You're listening to